Hello, friends. Boa noite. How are you doing? Here I am. And tonight I would like to tell you a short real life story followed by a oral traditional story. The real life story, the idea came because I was chatting with my cousins, and one of them, she started to send me old pictures. And among them, there was this picture that I think is precious. That is the picture of my grandfather and grandmother and their six kids. And at that time, the time that the picture was taken was the same time of the Second World War, and they were living in Rio de Janeiro. My grandfather, he had a hobby. He collected exotic birds and kept them inside cages. My grandmother, she hated. And I would love to tell you that she was ecologically correct, but not at all. At that time in Brazil, exotic birds were legal in the market. The fact is that she was in charge of cleaning all the cages, feed the birds, plus six kids, plus husbands. And my grandfather, he was called to serve and to join the forces, the Brazilian force. But the boat was about to leave from Sao Paulo and they were leaving in Rio de Janeiro. At that time, it was a long journey. My grandfather, he called my grandmother and worried about and trying to make their lives better. He allowed her to sell the birds and the cages. He had no idea if he would, how long he would be in Europe, and even if he would survive. Well, my grandmother, she told me that she had mixed feelings at that moment. From one side, obviously, she was concerned about him, and from another side, she was happy for the possibility of selling the birds. Anyway, my grandfather, he took the train, and the same day, my grandmother sold all the birds and the cages. But turns out that the trip from Rio to São Paulo, well, the train was delayed. And when my grandfather arrived in São Paulo, the boat with the soldiers had already left. So he returned to Rio. He never went to the war. And there was my grandmother with her husband safe, alive, and no birds. And that story remind me a story that I heard from Kevin. And I remember that I thought was absolutely beautiful. And I asked him if he would mind if I tell the story. That was years ago. And he was very generous and said, no, go ahead. And I told you once, but it was not as good as him. But I'm going to try to tell you this story. And I'm going to change a little bit. It's an Asian story, but because of my grandmother, I'm going to bring this story to Brazil a little bit, and I'm going to call the woman instead of an Asian name. I'm going to call her Maria, was my grandmother's name, and there was Maria. Maria, she was in her house, uh, sad, lonely, and waiting a long, 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 long wait. And suddenly she heard a knock at the door. She opened the door, and the other side there was a man dressed in uniform with a letter on his hand. Maria, trembling, she picked up the letter. She started to open it, and she knew there could be only two news: or her beloved husband was coming back home, or no, she did not want even to think about. She opened the letter, and there was the good news. Yes, he was coming back home. Maria, she could not wait anymore. Well, she prepared her favorite dress. She cooked his favorite food. She prepared the bed. Oh, and she waited. The afternoon, she was on her window, and she saw him coming. He was thinner that she remembered. Well, now he had a beard, thick beard. Maria, she left the house and she ran and she embraced him with all her love. But there was almost not embrace back. She thought he's tired. Inside the house, she placed the food in front of him, very proud and happy. He did not eat a lot. That night, that, not, that night she slept alone again. Well, the days passed, and he became every single day, he was more irritated about everything. There was nothing that she could do that would make him happy. Uh, He spent almost all the time he sat down in silence. In the moments that she tried to break the silence, what came from his mouth was sharp and harsh. And she tried, but she looked in that man. That man sat down on the sofa. No, that was not her husband. That was not the man that she remembered, the man that she got married. Well, desperate, she could not cope anymore. And then she remembered that in the village there was a woman that people called kind of a witch, but she knew that the woman, she was quite powerful, and well, she thought why not to try, and she went to her hut. And she asked the woman, she said, I need your help, please. I need your help. I need my husband back. That man inside my house, he's not my husband. He's not my husband. Please help me. Make a medicine, a potion, anything that could bring him back. The woman thought for a while, said, oh, I have no idea how to do that, but well, I'm going to think, I'm going to call the spirits and uh, come back tomorrow. The next day, Maria was there very early in the morning, and the woman said, no, now I know what to do. I can make a medicine, a potion, and your husband will be better, but I need a special ingredient. And Maria said, everything, anything that you want. The woman said, well, I need a whisker from a live jaguar. Maria said, but that's impossible. Well, I need that, or I cannot do the medicine. Maria returned to her house. She opened the door, and there he was, sat down on the sofa, quiet. She said, hi, husband. And again, what came from his mouth was not human. Well, Maria went to the kitchen, and she prepared the food, and she left. She went to the forest, and Maria walked and walked and walked very close to the jaguar cave. Once there, with her heart beating loudly in her heart, she left the plate. And she ran and she climbed the tree, and on the tree she started to sing, and waiting. And then the jaguar left the cave, sniffed the food, and ate. Listen to Maria's song. Next day, she did exactly the same. She cooked. She walked to the forest. She placed the plate close to the jaguar cave. She climbed the tree. On the tree, she started to sing. Very soft. The jaguar listened. The jaguar left the cave and get closer and closer and ate the food. And that happened for days and for weeks. Maria would climb the tree and sing. One day, she left the plate and she sat down in front of the cave, singing. The jaguar left the cave, sniffed, listened to the song, and ate. Next week, Maria placed the plate on her lap and sang. The jaguar left the cave, got closer and closer and closer, and ate the food from Maria's lap. Finally, one day, Maria sat and she only sang, and she sang and she sang and she sang in front of the jaguar's cave. The jaguar came closer and closer and closer, listened to the song, and he lay down, his head on Maria's lap. Maria waited, singing. When the jaguar closed his eyes, she, very careful, took one of his whiskers. Once he woke up and returned to the cave, Maria took the whisker and she ran and she ran and she ran and she ran and she got to the village. She got to the village. She went to the witches, the old woman hut, and she said, I got it. I got it. Here it is. Here it is. I can't believe it. That's the whisker of a live jaguar. The old woman took the whisker and looked and said, wow, yeah, you got it. Well done, you. And throw the whisker in the middle of the fire. Maria, she could not believe. She said, what are you doing? What are you doing? I risked my life. And what are you doing? You promised me. You promised to make a potion, a medicine could bring my husband back. The old woman looked at Maria and said, my darling, you don't need the medicine. Use the same skills that you have used to seduce the jaguar. Well, on that night, Maria cooked for her husband, singing the same song. Thank you. Again, this is for you, Kevin. Not as good as yours, but well, with my heart for you. Missing all of you. Bye.